Hi, I'm Brandon West. I work at CoScreen, a startup with a mission to bring teams closer together through collaboration. Today I'm going to share a few tips on how you can have more effective meetings. I'll talk about the types of subjects that work well for meetings, how your choice of tools impacts them, and provide some specific recommendations. First, CoScreen is a new kind of screen sharing where multiple people can share remotely controllable windows at the same time. It's really cool, especially for things like pair programming or team code reviews. You can check it out for free on Windows and Mac at coscreen.co. Now, have you ever finished a meeting and said, that definitely could have been an email? Or maybe you've sat through a long presentation that left everyone with more questions than answers, but without any space for discussion. Most people know from experience that there are some subjects that are better suited for meetings than others, but it's not always clear why. So let's talk about when to have meetings and what tools to use. With more people working from home than ever before, a lot of the world has moved to a more asynchronous communication style, which makes sense. People can share their status, pull information when needed, and they don't have to wait for their teammates in order to continue with their own work. Unfortunately, research suggests that this has a negative impact on knowledge transfer and quality of output. It's clear that teams need both synchronous and asynchronous communication. Asynchronous communication channels such as email are better suited for conveying information, and synchronous channels such as video calls are better suited for converging on the meaning of information. Media richness theory says that the higher the complexity of the information being exchanged, the greater the level of synchronicity you need to communicate it. Similarly, using an overly rich medium for simple information will reduce the effectiveness of communication. And this is usually where people feel that something could have been an email instead of a meeting. So meetings should focus on things other than sharing information, and the channel used should depend on the complexity of the subject. This means that you should have meetings when you need to get things done together, generate new ideas, or establish a sense of team and rapport. Let's talk about each of these areas. Since research shows that usage of async communications hurts knowledge transfer, meetings are one of the best places to correct this. Making specific recurring time for collaborative meetings such as pair programming, group code reviews, or design workshops can go a long way toward addressing some of the downsides of remote work. Rich tools that enable shared context, such as CoScreen, are great for this. Meetings are also a great way to generate new ideas. Group brainstorming is more effective than individual brainstorming, and additionally, individual brainstorming is improved if it follows a group discussion. Specifically, when people can generate ideas continuously while maintaining their own identity, they come up with more novel ideas than would have been generated by simply pooling the ideas of the individual group members. So this means that the most effective kind of brainstorming is collaborative and synchronous, and that's great for meetings. When it comes to team building, meetings are one of the primary expressions of your company culture. They provide a chance for people to express and reinforce their values, and for leaders to present model behaviors for other employees. Intuitively, we know that it's easier to work with people that we know, and the more we understand how someone thinks and their strengths and weaknesses, the better the team will be. Casual things like team lunches might not seem complex at first, but they are better served by rich channels due to the amount of information encoded in social interactions. It's hard to get to know someone over email. So let's review. We've determined that meetings are most effective when they are for converging on meaning rather than sharing information. Some of the best reasons to have meetings are for collaboration, generating new ideas, and building team rapport or reinforcing culture. Avoid meetings where one person will be presenting without discussion, and in cases where the information being discussed is not very complex. So what can you do to improve your meetings? First, review your existing meetings and categorize them based on their purpose. Also, rank them based on the level of complexity of the information being discussed. Once you've done that, look for opportunities to replace meetings that are for sharing information with asynchronous things like recorded videos, and look for opportunities to add more meetings specifically for collaboration and building team rapport. Now, consider the tools you're using. Are you using video calls for everything? Is that the right approach? Or are you potentially reducing the effectiveness of some of your meetings? Are there tools such as CoScreen that you haven't yet considered that might be better suited for some of these things that you're doing? Finally, don't set your recurring meetings super far into the future. Consider scheduling them maybe at 1 quarter at a time, then review these meetings for effective communication when it is time to reschedule them. Be intentional about what's on the calendar, and remember that meetings are the manifestation of your company's culture. Thanks for your time. I hope you've learned something and that you'll give CoScreen a look to see if it might help make your meetings more useful.